Today's video has been sponsored by Cook Unity. How's it going, my peeps? Welcome back to the channel. Sorry it's been so long since I've done one of these Instagram poll tests. If you want to catch the next one, follow me at David_Seymour1. And maybe a little surprisingly, you guys picked the video based all on strawberry recipes, which I'm fine with. I love strawberries, they're very summery, and just like myself, maybe a little underrated as a fruit. And I was able to find some incredibly mesmerizing strawberry recipes for us to try out today, so let's get right into this one. You know what? Let me not get ahead of myself here, because as good as some of these look, we do know TikTok has a track record with some of their recipes. But one thing we don't have to have any worries about missing our expectations are the incredible offerings from the good people over at Cook Unity. Cook Unity is the first ever chef-to-consumer platform that delivers freshly prepared meals right to your door every week. They partner with incredible chefs, from Food Network stars to James Beard Award winners, to offer you a wide range of meals with over 7 different dietary preference filters, including vegan, paleo, gluten-free, and more, like some of the stuff I have here today. From the sliced ribeye yaki udon by Chef Sergio Tominaga, the barbecue chicken with gooey mac and cheese, and this roasted salmon and lobster sauce. Once again, I am blown away by the quality of this stuff, and after a really long day, it is so nice knowing I have restaurant quality meals just minutes away. I love that you can set your preferences and choose between their ever-changing menu of meals each week. Plus, the subscription is super flexible, and you can pause, skip weeks, or cancel at any time. And the meals arrive fresh, not frozen, so all you have to do is heat them up, which means no more cleanup and meal planning. So if you are looking for the best way to enjoy restaurant quality meals at home, click that link in the top line of the description to go to cookunity.com/Seymour50, and when you use my code Seymour50 at checkout, you will get 50% off of your first order of Cook Unity. To kick things off today very strongly, I wanted to do something that looks incredibly refreshing for the amount of heat we've been experiencing. And this Mexican strawberry agua fresca looks perfect. I grabbed some 2% milk and evaporated milk, cold water, fresh strawberries, sweetened condensed milk, and vanilla extract. Now, if you are finding yourself as uncultured as I was, allow me to explain. They are basically a blended, unfiltered fruit juice, sometimes with a melon or a berry in this case. I think normally they're mixed with some water and then some sweeteners, that's why they're called agua fresca. In this case, we are subbing in some milk, which I think will blend perfectly with strawberries for this application, although it does have the potential to ruin my entire night in a couple of hours. I blended up and then strained off my strawberry juice, mixed it with everything else that I showed you, poured it over plenty of ice, more chopped up strawberries, and it's looking like I picked a very strong start for this one. That is fresh water. Even though it's the middle of the night right now, it's still pretty hot, and during the daytime when it's like 100 degrees, I cannot imagine how good this would hit. It is so refreshing and light. It's the perfect amount of sweetness, just relying on the strawberries and the milk. It very much is like a lighter, colder, and more refreshing strawberry Nesquik. Good start. Next up today is one that honestly just looked too good to pass up. And they are the salted strawberry shortcake cookie. I grabbed some sugar and kosher salt, flour, white chocolate chips, butter and baking powder, some flaky salt, and some fresh strawberries. As I sit here wondering why I was so immediately enthralled by this video, the thought did cross my mind, is it because they look like peppermint cookies? Possibly. And you guys know how I feel about the holidays, which are right around the corner. But I think the main reason is just because being I'm a guy that's not crazy about sweets, I love things that are different, potentially lighter and less sugary than most of our American cakes and cupcakes and cookies. And this one looks like it fits all those descriptors. I very finely chopped up a bunch of strawberries, whipped together my dry ingredients and set it to the side, and then whisked the hell out of the wet stuff, the butter, the sugar, the strawberries, which wasn't looking the best, to be honest. It kind of looks like what's left on my dog's bed after one too many red milk bones. And I was really trying hard to emulsify all this stuff together, as evidenced by my whisk then snapping. I just don't think it was gonna happen. I beat this for a good long while, so I added in my dry stuff, of course the chopped up white chocolate chips as well. I will say, this finished dough looked a lot better. It looks very similar to hers in her video. It was also very scoopable and easy to portion out onto my cookie sheet. About 12 to 14 minutes later, I pulled these babies out and they smell great. I gave them a little finish with some flaky salt. Let's give them a taste. Did I forget to set a timer and slightly overcook that second batch I made? Yes, I may have. But you guys did not have to know that. I don't mind them. The flavor's okay. I could actually do with a lot more strawberry flavor. Maybe if there was a way to like crush up some freeze-dried ones and put them on top. But the texture isn't great, I'm gonna be honest. And I could be at fault. It could be because I didn't use a stand mixer. But it is very nearly towing the line of Play-Doh texture. It's not super pleasant. Would I ever make them again, even if the texture was a bit better? Probably not. Third up today is the main reason we are all here right now. It's the recipe you guys suggested, probably more than it deserves. They are some very simple strawberry puff pastries, and I grabbed some milk and puff pastry, sugar, strawberry jam, fresh strawberries, powdered sugar, and an egg. I'm certainly not going to complain when you guys bombard me with a recipe as simple as this one, compared to the other stuff you guys have harassed me with in the past. Because this is as simple as slicing up your strawberries, whipping up your little egg wash, rolling out your puff pastry dough, punching out your shapes, loading on your ingredients, and then baking it off. Unfortunately, I couldn't find my heart-shaped cookie cutter. I swore it was around here somewhere. So these are gonna be some unintentionally patriotic puff pastries. And other than a sprinkling of whatever kind of sugar you got around the edges, I'm actually gonna use some coarse turbinado sugar for mine. There's not a lot else to these. I suppose I could have made the jam homemade, but it's too late now. So I popped these in a 350-degree oven for about 12 to 15 minutes until the edges were nice and browned. And I'd say these look pretty good. The jam ran off the sides a little bit, which I kind of expected because of the shapes of these, but I dressed them up with some powdered sugar, and let's give them a shot. Not to be confused with the upside-down puff pastry TikTok hacks, we've got the strawberry jam puff pastry tart. Just a pastry, I don't know. What would you call these? These are freaking delicious, and they make me wish it was winter. The texture is great between the puff pastry, that crunchy sugar on the outside. I think that's a really good jam that I got too. I don't know if I would have been able to make a better one. That's just me coping for having not made my own. They also kind of remind me of those toaster strudels with the flaky pastry, the warm jam filling, or I guess an Uncrustable. Never got to experience one of those. They need to sell these things somewhere. Probably my favorite recipe of the day so far. Now freeze, let's pause for a second because I have a bit of a bone to pick. As good as these recipes have been, as I was looking through all of the recent viral strawberry recipes, I noticed we're missing a classic combination. Whatever happened to chocolate and strawberries? I feel like that has been around forever, but not a single one of these recipes that I was looking through included chocolate in any way. And how could little old me incorporate one of the best ever chocolate creations that has ever been created? I grabbed some sugar and kosher salt, cocoa powder and flour, white chocolate and dark baking chocolate, lots of butter and strawberries, heavy cream, vanilla extract, brown sugar, strawberry extract, a couple eggs, and fresh mint. You know what they say, when in doubt, return to the tasty fudgy brownie well, because one could never make these too many times. Has anybody been keeping count? For real? It's gotta be like up to 15 almost now, but I don't care. Any excuse I could come up with to make and then eat these things again, I will gladly take. I will spare you the long, drawn-out explanation of how to make these. If you are new, I'll leave the link to Tasty's original recipe in the description, but just know that this is probably my favorite dessert I have ever made or have ever eaten. It is just the perfect level of bitterness to sweetness and salty, fudginess to chew, with the little crispy edges. It is just perfection. And once those were done and smelling incredible as expected, I moved on to my second major component, that being the strawberry white chocolate mousse. For my creation, I wanted to make a strawberry something that was out of the box, something you don't see every day. And I'm thinking if I make a really airy mousse with plenty of chopped up white chocolate, some lightly steeped heavy cream to melt the two together, a healthy pinch of salt, and a splash of the strawberry and vanilla extracts, I figured we'd be able to whip this, after it chilled for a bit, into somewhat of a whipped chocolate ganache, call it a mousse, whatever makes you happy. Finished off with some chopped up macerated strawberries, a little pinch of our mint leaves, and how this will stack up against the other great stuff we have made today, that remains to be seen. You know what this kind of looks like, actually? That TikTok shop beauty butter whatever nonsense that you want to eat and you can't? Well, I made one that you can. I just don't get it. I don't understand why you barely see strawberry and chocolate combined anymore. It is so good. The dark, deep richness of that on-point fudgy brownie matches perfectly with the light airiness of the mousse. I love strawberries and the little sugary syrup that they create when you sprinkle them in sugar. I was also scared I went a little too heavy with the cream just to like fill up the glass, but I think it's perfect. Every spoon, you kind of get a good ratio because the mousse just dissipates very quickly and then you're left with brownie afterwards. That is such a nice strawberry flavor, by the way. I always feel like a jerk when I have to rank my stuff against other people's, but we'll just say this is very good, right on par with some of the other great stuff we've had today.
With the M without the AD. Flipping burgers and my money super lazy. Try and make a meal tonight, they ain't paying me. Try and supersize my life with my A-team. Yeah, our style wasn't wavy, but we had a vision.